So this is the Nothing Headphone 1, and today we're going to take a look at it and review this product to see if these are the headphones for you. So what is up, guys? Nick here, helping you to master your technology, and let's take a look at the very first over-the-ear phones by Nothing. Now, if you're not familiar with Nothing, they're a UK-based, straight out of London, consumer electronics company that has been producing these devices with minimal aesthetic and glyph interfaces, founded by Carl Pye, who left and was recently a co-founder of the OnePlus brand. This was founded way back in 2020. So announced in 2021, we've seen the Nothing Phone 1, the Nothing Ear 1 as well. And today we have, in 2025, the very first over-the-ear headphones for the brand. And let me tell you, these things are pretty stunning. They're going to come in at $299, and all you got to do is go to nothing.tech, and this is the website right here. You'll be able to go to, you want to go to the United States if you're buying there. You can go ahead and pre-order these headphones on July 4th, and they're going to come in at $299. So for what you're going to get here, you're going to see this is a pretty good deal for what they are. So definitely quite nice. You can also get them in white or black. You'll see they do have a very futuristic and very unique design. Well, we're going to showcase that here in the video, but definitely they do have a very appealing look if you're into definitely something that looks different. All right, so taking a look at the box, you can clearly see the design. If you haven't seen it already, you'll see the Headphone 1 branding there, Nothing trademark up there, and Sound by Kef, which is also a British audio company founded back in the 1960s. They're some of the best in the business when it comes to creating products for audio, including headphones and other audio gear. So partnership with them is definitely going to give you a really nice crispy sound. Let's go ahead and unbox these. I will say that I opened them up already, set them up to make this review a bit quicker. They were a little bit tough to get out of the box, honestly. It's not a complaint. I'm just saying that they're tight. They're stuffed in there. So definitely take your time if you don't want to damage the box here. So there's a texture on the box as well, kind of going along with how Nothing does things. I did lower the exposure for a minute there so you can kind of see this texture. Definitely nice little design of the headphones going around here. So you can see it's already carried into the box. So it starts here, the experience with this product. Opening up the box, you're going to find yourself the case. Now, let's talk about the case really quickly. It's an important thing. I do have to state that I'm not a fan of the size of the case. It's going to travel it's going to take up some space, especially if you have a small bag. But they do have some little indentations here that will actually give you a place to kind of put your thumb and your fingers on the back when you're grabbing this. So thoughtful design there on the case. It does feel like, I don't know, it doesn't feel super premium on this case design, but definitely has a smooth texture, like a fabric-y texture. Also, I did notice here on the case, they do have the Nothing branding right there. And let's go ahead and take a look at, well, actually take a look at what's inside the box before we open up the headphones. And you'll see right here, you can scan this QR code. They have like a glyph looking matrix look here for the QR, but that will just take you over to download the Nothing X app, which is the application you're going to have to use to manage the headphones. Just like most headphones have an application, these are no different. You'll see a 3.5 to 3.5 millimeter headset jack right here. And of course, Nothing does pay attention to the details. So you will see the Nothing branding there. And on the other side, you will also see the Nothing branding. Now over here, USB-C to USB-C, again with the Nothing branding. And again on this side with the Nothing branding right there. Now you also see some warranty guide, safety information, and a quick start guide as well. All right, guys, so the moment you've been waiting for. Let's go ahead and reveal the all-new Nothing Headphone 1 right here. And you can see, while I did say the case was big, at least the inside is very nicely lined. And here they are. Let's go ahead and open them up. And we are going to do a quick hardware look because these do have a lot to talk about in the look. First of all, I got to state, I'm loving the design. They definitely look very unique. Most headphones are incredibly boring looking and they don't have any flair really. These definitely stand out. And you can see right here, I am kind of reminded of cassette tapes from back in the day. You might be old enough, you might not be old enough to remember what that is, but they definitely kind of remind me of that. You're going to see they even, down to the headband right here, they do even have some design flair up there. And let's talk about some new features on these right here. They do have a roller right here, which will allow you to change volumes. You're also going to be able to press that in for noise cancellation as well as transparency modes. They also have what they call a paddle right here, which is going to allow you to skip tracks. And at first it seems like these are a lot of features on a headphone, but you're going to see that they all make a lot of sense when they're actually on your head, because you'll remember, your brain will have muscle memory which each thing does, and it feels very intuitive. You'll see over here at the bottom, there's even a switch to turn these off. That's not something that all headphones in this price range have, like a nice specific switch just for on and off. Sometimes you just disconnect them or hold down a power button to disconnect the headphones, and you'll see the 3.5mm headset jack there, USB-C as expected. Now you'll see that these headphones are wrapped in aluminum here, so they definitely do have some aluminum here on the edges, which give them a premium feel. They do kind of, if you have them in this angle, they do bump into each other a little bit, so you want to turn them if you don't want to do that. But you could see from this angle, they also look pretty sleek and modern. Now I'm glad they sent out the white edition, because I think this one stands out a bit more. And you can see pretty cushy ear cups as well. I found these to be pretty nice on ear. They do feel rather plush, actually. They're not huge ear cups though. They're pretty like a good like one size, probably fit a lot of people's heads. But definitely they're not huge. You'll see right here, we do have ourselves a headband right there that's pretty plush as well. Matches up very well with these. Doesn't say L or R in here, but they actually spelled it out on the sides here. So let's see if we can get a close up on that. So it says left right there. You can see some screws right there. And then on the right, it also will say right there. So get in the focus. Let me zoom in a bit. You'll see it says right, and it's kind of spelled out in a very clean font, similar to how Nothing does their font right there. You'll see here in the case, we do have ourselves like a felt lining. It's definitely very nice in there, very premium feeling right there. So the outside didn't feel super premium, but the inside does. And that's important because that's where we're going to store things. You'll be able to store your cables and stuff of that sort in there. So it's going to be a very good travel companion to be able to store cables in there. Now on the outer design, you'll see we do have, it says sound by KEF right there. So it's letting you know that. And the Nothing Headphone 1 branding right there, the little red right there. It's just very similar to what they do on the Nothing phone as well. You could see the little red, so you could see how nice the transparent look kind of matches up here with the headphones. It's a very cohesive looking design here to match up with the way they design their smartphones. So very nice looking overall, I would say, for this brand to keep everything in sync. So very, very neat. And then this button back here is going to allow you to use things like Gemini, ChatGPT. It's a customizable button as well. You'll see the Nothing X app that we'll showcase later in the review. But that button right there is pretty useful. Actually, it's going to be, and I like how they separated that button from the roller and the paddle. They didn't put them next to each other, so you're not accidentally pressing. So when they are on head, you will see this button kind of be on the outside. It reminds you, okay, if I'm gonna use my assistant, it's out there, it's not like in the way. So that's pretty neat. Now you are going to need the Nothing X app for the full experience on here. So it's actually right here. I'm not actually connected at the moment. I'll have to turn these headphones on for a second. Now connected here. Now I don't know why my app's not showing the picture, but it's probably going to show the picture of the headphones right there for you. Again, this is very early software, so there's going to be a lot of updates to these headphones. And before we dive a little bit more into the application, I do want to mention that you don't need to have a Nothing phone to go ahead and get this pair of headphones. You can have a Samsung device. You can download the Nothing X app there. It's going to work very well. You can actually also buy these and use them on iOS as well. So they have the Nothing X app for iOS as well. So don't think that you're out of the mark. You can't buy these if you don't have a Nothing phone. Not true. Of course, just like any other smartphone, probably going to be a better experience if you're using it combined with a Nothing phone, because it is a Nothing headphone. So it's going to sync up very well with this product. But you'll see that you have things like noise cancellation, and you could change between things like adaptive, mid, low, high, and it makes this little like breath kind of sound when it changes to transparent. Like I'm going to show you in a little bit. I'll put the microphone near it so you can hear that. Exploring the application, you do have bass enhancement, which turns off the spatial audio, so just keep that in mind. You have an equalizer mode as well, so you'll be able to change between balanced, more bass, more treble. You can also customize your audio experience as well, and you have advanced audio controls as well. So they'll tell you this is next level tuning. You could change the gain, the frequency, and more. So for those audiophiles out there, this is not only going to be great for regular consumers just want a quick connect to a Nothing headphone. They can definitely tweak it if you want to play around a little bit more as well. You also have this channel hop feature, which is you're going to require some permissions for that. You also do have different controls you can do. It'll show you different things you can do with the paddle. You can roll, noise control, and so you can press and hold for AI. So definitely you do have such a lot of fun features in here, but also remaining pretty simple too. Once you get the hang of it, it's like second nature using these. So very, very simplistic while having a few features that really let you know that you're not using some cheapy headphones, you're using a premium product here. So when talking about the comfort of these headphones, I want to discuss like how they look. First of all, I got a pretty big head, as you can see, and they don't look huge on my head, but they don't look small either. They definitely really do come very close to the ear though. So again, for some people, it might feel a little bit like pressure, but Nothing has done a lot of research and kind of like made sure that it'll fit a various amount of heads. Personally, it doesn't really bother me and they feel very good, I think, for a long-term session of audio. They also have pretty long battery life. So these things can actually last up to 80 hours with the ANC turned off, and they can do about 35 hours with it turned on. Now, as you can see, the actual design on the head here actually looks pretty unique. So I think if somebody sees these out in public, they're going to say, what are those? I haven't seen those headphones before. So definitely they do have a unique look. The headband is actually pretty comfortable and doesn't seem to cause too much pressure on the top of the head. And they do have pretty good adjustability. Although I've seen more adjustability in some other headphones, these are definitely very tight. And you could feel that they're pretty strong. So when you are like adjusting them, you do have to put a little bit more pressure because they're not some cheapy headphones that would just like, they'll just open really easily. So they do have some resistance there to give you that perfect fit. So overall, I gotta say, comfort factor, it's a thumbs up for sure. So they make this like little sounds when they change between noise canceling and transparency. I want to show you how those sound. I'm gonna bring the mic down so you might hear a little bit of microphone. Hold on. And so right there, you got a little bit of an experience of what it's going to sound like when switching between things like transparency, noise cancellation, and changing between the different modes on there. So it kind of has those nice little Nothing style sounds that you find on even like some of the ringtones and the glyph that you'll find on the actual phone. So again, giving you that cohesive ecosystem feel between the Nothing phone and the headphones themselves. So for a few more specifications, you do get up to 42 decibels of noise cancellation or mic ENC as well, architecture. And we do have ourselves 40mm dynamic drivers. You do have crispy sound. So when I am listening to my music, I mean, you can't hear the music through the video. This is why headphone reviews can be a little bit tricky. Even if you see some of them videos, you can't really tell until you try them on. But as somebody who's a headphone junkie myself, I don't cover headphones, but I use them all the time for editing, for listening to music, for listening to podcasts. I use them all day, basically all the time. I just don't review headphones all the time, but these kind of struck me for being just super unique. That's why I wanted to cover them. And we do have ourselves definitely a lot longer battery life if you do turn off the noise cancellation. These also work with AI. So in the Nothing X app, you'll be able to go to device settings here. And you also have over-ear detection for when you take them off, they'll pause as well. There's a low lag mode as well for those of you who want to do some gaming and don't want interruptions and things of that sort. Nothing is also saying that you can get really, really good crystal clear phone call quality, and that does have adaptive noise cancellation, so it will be able to detect the environment and give you better noise cancellation in real world scenarios. So whether you're commuting, you're going to a cafe, or you're just in the loud world that we live in these days, these are going to be a really good companion for your Nothing phone device. So we'll be covering the Nothing Phone 3 eventually, so you want to stay tuned to the channel for that. But definitely, they're not super heavy, 329 grams. And I just got to say that I've been enjoying these. Like, they've really been pretty good. And I think they are shockingly good for $299. If they were $599, $499, I'd be like, okay, that's pretty steep. But at the price point of $299, I definitely think they're worth it. And not just because they sent them. I actually like the aluminum around the edges. I like the unique design, the cushy ear cups, the premium case, even though it's a little bit big. These don't fold in, so it needs a bigger case for them to fit. It just feels like a fun design choice that they made here with these, matching up very well with their headphones. And just adding to the ear lineup, you'll see, finally over-the-ear headphones for your Nothing phone. So definitely building out the ecosystem nicely with these, and I don't think you go wrong. They do have to work a little bit on the software. It is a little bit buggy right now, so I would like to see some software updates to make the Nothing X app even better for these headphones, but that's not going to take too long. They'll just do a few updates and it'll be super smooth in a couple of months, even better. But everything's working. I haven't had any issues with like the features not working. It just took a little bit of time with the setup. But again, we are in the early stages. These are still going to be on pre-order. By the time you get your model, they'll probably already do some software updates, even more on the Nothing X app. But yeah, they're a thumbs up. Let me know your thoughts on the Nothing Headphone 1. Are you picking them up? Are you not? Are you interested? Are you not? Let me know your thoughts down below. Thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you haven't already. And stay tuned, because I am going to check out that Nothing Phone 3 coming soon. I've been waiting for that product for a long time as they keep releasing the budget versions. Finally, we're going to see the flagship make its return to the Nick Ackerman channel. I'll catch you on the next one. Nick here. Be sure to be well, and peace.